Good morning, guys.
Good morning, sir.
OSPF version 3. Now, guys, the thing is, here we are studying how OSPF will work with IPv6. Now, there will be a question in your mind, sir, what are the changes? I will just tell you about the changes, else everything will be same. Fine. Now, what are the basic changes? First of all, still OSPF is a layer 3 protocol. And which version we are using? 3. Version 2 we were using for IPv4. Clear? Version 3 we are using for IPv6. Fine. Next thing, still it is a layer 3 protocol. It uses IP protocol number 89. This time it uses IPv6 multicast address FF02:5 and FF02:6. I think all of you know what is the use of 5 and what is the use of 6. Clear? Now, as we have discussed in EIGRP also, look here, that whenever a router will be sending any control plane traffic related to routing protocol. Again, I am saying whenever a router will be sending any control plane traffic related to routing protocol, means routing protocol update, routing protocol database, or anything that is related to routing protocol. So what I was telling you, that whenever in case of a routing protocol, a router will try to send control plane traffic, it will always use what it can use? Link local address. Clear? So in this case also, whenever R1 will be sending any message like hello, update, DBD, it will, what will be the source in the packet? Link local address of interface. Now, if you remember, in case of EIGRP, we have also discussed this stuff, that whenever a router will set update over this interface, router will include the network that it is running on this interface. Why? Because there can be a chance on the other end we are running a different network. In case of IPv4, there was a way to check that the other end is running the same network or not. But in case of IPv6, there is no way, because routers can still form neighborship if they are member of different subnet. If they are member of different subnet, this thing is clear. So just to resolve this, just to overcome this thing, you can say in case of IPv6, there is a rule that whenever a router will send hello, it will use source as exit interface link local address. Second thing I've just explained. दूसरी बात बताओ भाई। पहली बात तो ये बताई कि राउटर जब भी हेलो सेंड करेगा, सोर्स क्या जाएगा? लिंक लोकल एड्रेस. दूसरी बात, राउटर्स कैन स्टिल फॉर्म नेबरशिप व्हेन दे आर यूजिंग डिफरेंट सबनेट्स. क्लियर? सो द सेम थिंग एग्जिस्ट इन OSPF also. Now, guys, I have a concern. किसी ने OSPF version 3 बनाया. Someone has developed OSPF version 3. Now, what do you think? What was his aim? That he want a improved OSPF version now? Yes or no?
Yes.
He want a improved OSPF version now? Yes or no? Yes. So, guys, first of all, first thing that all of you must know, that we can configure OSPF version 3 on a router in two ways. In how many ways? Two ways. One is by using the command IPv6 router OSPF process ID. Second command router OSPF version 3. Second command router OSPF version 3. Both commands will enable OSPF version 3. Now there will be a question in your mind, sir, what is the difference? why we are having two ways to enable the same protocol. See, when you are enabling it with the command IPv6 router OSPF process ID, at that time you can configure OSPF only for IPv6. But when you are using the command router OSPF version 3 and after that process ID, you can configure it for IPv4 also and IPv6 also. It means the address family mode. Let me show you. Things will be more clear. भाई यहाँ देखते रहना. Look here. First of all, IPv6 unicast routing. First way to enable OSPF. Done. By this command, OSPF version 3 will be enabled, but you can configure it only for IPv6. Clear? Because you can see here there is no option for address family. There is no option for address family. Now, if I am writing here like this, router OSPF version process ID 1. Here I have option of what is address family. Either I can configure it for or I can configure it for IP. This thing is clear. It means you can configure OSPF version 3 for IPv4 also and IPv. How many of you remember named mode EIGRP? Named mode EIGRP. What was the benefit of using named mode EIGRP? That in a single process you can configure both IPv4 and IPv6. Similar is the case here. OSPF version 3 supports both IPv4 and IPv6. But if you are enabling OSPF like this, you can run it only for IPv6. Clear? This is the first difference. ये क्या है? पहला difference है कि इस command से अगर आप OSPF enable कर रहे हो तो आप सिर्फ किसके लिए कर सकते हो? IPv6 के लिए. ये देखो दो अप्रोचेज हैं. फर्स्ट इज सेकेंड द OSPF address family configuration approach is somewhat similar to where you can have clear. समझ में आया सबको? So I will not be configuring address family approach. I will be configuring normal OSPF version 3. Fine. मैं क्या configure करूँगा? Normal OSPF version 3. Because I just want to show you the difference between IPv4 and IPv6. Clear? Now, Let me configure IPv6 addresses here. Done? Done? Loopback is clear to all of you? R2 IPv6 unicast routing. Look here. Here I am using with subnet. On R1 I have configured with subnet 12. Clear? On both the ends I am using different subnet. IP 192.168.101.234 This is the network between 2, 3 and 4 double colon 2 slash no done. R3 IPv6 unicast routing interface FA0/0 IPv6 address 192.168.101.234 double colon 3/64 no interface loopback 1 IPv6 address 3:3/128 done. R4 IPv6 unicast routing interface FA0/0 IPv6 address 192.168.101.234 double colon 4 done /64 interface loopback 1 IPv6 address 4:4/120 IPv6 addressing is done. Let me explain you the LSS, then we will discuss. In case of IPv4, how many types of LSS were there? These we have discussed. Name, done. In case of IPv6, we have two more types of LSA. Type 8 is called, type 9 is called, what do we call it? Fine. Type 1 is called router, type 2 is called network, type 3 is called, let me check, inter-area prefix. Type 3 is called inter-area क्या बोला हमने टाइप 3 को? इंटर एरिया प्रीफिक्स. क्लियर? टाइप 4 type 4 is called inter area prefix for see, this is inter area prefix LSA for, this is inter area prefix LSA for ASBR. Clear? Clear to all of you? सबको समझ में आया? अब देखो, what is the change? Try to understand it. In case of IPv4, what was the information present in router LSA? How many links are connected? What network we are running on those links? What is the cost of those links? And how many neighbors are reachable over those links? In case of IPv6, in router LSA, there is only one information: which neighbor are reachable over which links. which neighbor are reachable over which links, or you can say what is the cost of those links. It means in type 1 LSA only those links are present on which neighbors are reachable. In type 1 LSA only those links are present over which neighbor are reachable. Any problem in understanding this? No. Second concern, type 2 LSA is same, generated by DR on a multi-access segment. Clear? Information is same in type 2 LSA. How many routers are connected on this multi-access segment and what is the network running on this multi-access segment? Type 3 LSA is also same. Is generated by ABR. It will give summary of one area networks into another area. Type 4 LSA is also same, generated by ABR, giving information of ASBR. How to reach ASBR and what is the cost to reach it? Type 5 is also same. Whenever any routes are redistributed into OSPF, router will generate type 5 LSA. Clear? Clear? Type 7 is also same. Now what is this type 9 LSA, intra-area prefix LSA? If you remember, in type 1 LSA, in case of IPv4, what was the information? Total links. How many links are connected? What is the network? But in case of IPv6, I am just having links over which neighbors are reachable. What about other links? What about the networks from which there is no neighbor reachable? All those networks information will be present in intra-area prefix LSA. All that information will be presented intra-area prefix LSA. It means you can say the type 1 LSA we were using in IPv4. In case of IPv6, it is divided into two parts. It is divided into two parts. How? One part is just defining over which interface which neighbors are reachable. Second is defining all the networks. Second is defining all the. So every router will be generating two LSA for itself. One is type 1, second is type 9. In type 1 LSA, it will keep the information which neighbors are reachable over which interface. In type 9 LSA, it will keep the information. What are the other networks connected to me? What is their cost? Clear? Now, let me tell you the benefit of this fucking thing. It is very beneficial, bro. Now try to understand. Let's say we all are routers. Fine. First of all, let me take example of IPv4. Fine. Whenever any of my network cost changes or whenever a new network is added, I will regenerate my type 1 LSA. All of you know. I will flood it throughout OSPF domain. All of you know. Clear? Now all of you have to again calculate SPF. All of you again have to calculate SPF. All of you know this thing. I have showed you the example that whenever I am making change on a single router in an area, all routers need to run SPF. Clear? Now look here. In case of IPv6, just to provide a single router information, router is generating how many LSAs? Two. One is, second is type. In type 1, what is the information? Which interfaces I am using to reach which neighbors? And type 9, all the networks and their cost. Clear? Now try to understand. In the beginning I will flood type 1 also, type 9 also to all of you. All of you get my type 1 also and type 9 also. Question? All of you will get my type 1 also and type 9 also. Clear? Let's say a network is added on me. Which LSA will be regenerated? 9. I will flood type 9 again. There is no need to run SPF. There is no need to run SPF. When routers will run SPF? Whenever there is change in type 1. देखो, every router is building a tree. Every router is building a tree. Let's say these are 4 routers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fine. Their tree is already built. They already know about each other networks. Now one more network is added on this router. So which LSA will be regenerated? Type 9. He will be flooding type 9 to all of them. Type 1 is not reflooded or regenerated. Why? Because we are dealing here with IPv6. Clear? Now we will flood which LSA? Type 9. To him also, to him also, to him also. Now what they will do? They will just add that network to their routing table. There is no need to run SPA. There is no need to form the tree again, because actually there is no change in the tree. Actually there is no change in the tree. बात समझ में आई? So we have divided one LSA into two parts just to reduce SPF calculations. Just to reduce SPF calculations. देखो यार, ट्री में चेंज आने का मतलब है, व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय चेंज इन ट्री? Change in tree means topology is changed. Topology is changed. But here you can see, whenever a new network is added or deleted, whenever a new network is added or deleted, tree is not changed. Tree is not, so there is no need to run SPF. There is no need to run SPF. This thing is clear. So just to reduce SPF calculation in a single area, I have divided type 1 LSA into how many parts? Two parts. Clear? सबको समझ में आया? Second thing, what is type 8 LSA? Link LSA. What do we call it? Link LSA. What is the use of link LSA? Now all of you know, in case of IPv6, next stop will be link local address of router. Now in link LSA, link local addresses are exchanged. In link LSA, which addresses are exchanged? Link local addresses. Clear? This thing is clear to all of you. Again I am saying, in case of IPv6, all of you know next stop will be link local address of adjacent router. Clear? Now how link local addresses are exchanged? With the help of link LS. With the help of link LS. Now guys, just tell me one thing. Let's say these are 5 routers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This router link local address will be known only to this router and this router, not to this router. What he will do with the link local address of this router? Yes or no? भाई देखो, इसके लिए next stop कौन है? ये. For him next stop is him. So his link local address must be known to him only, not to him, not to him, not to him. That's why we say scope of link local LSA is local to the link. Scope of link local LSA is local to the link. Local to the link means he will send, he will receive, he will not forward it. He will forward its own link local LSA to him. He will forward his own link local LSA to him. It means his link local LSA, you will never find it on him. It's not possible because there is no need. There is no need. Clear? This thing is clear? It's readable. Who will read? पढ़ो.
Type 8. The type 8 LSS called link LSS only exist on local link, where they are used by a router to advertise the router link local address to all other routers on the same link. Additionally, the type 8 LSS provides the router on that link a listing of all IPv6 addresses associated with the link. OSPF version 3 also uses the type 8 LSA to set option bits for a specific network LSS. These bits give OSPF version 3 more information about the nature of network advertisement. As just one example.
Leave this shit, read type 9 LSA.
Type 9 LSA. The type 9 LSS called intra-area prefix LSS can send information about IPv6 networks, including stub networks, attached to a router, similar to Type 1 LSA for IPv6 networks.
IPv4 networks.
Additionally, a Type 9 LSA can send information about transit IPv6 network segments within an area, similar to Type 2 LSA for IPv4 networks.
ठीक है जी, दिखाता हूँ मैं आपको चला के. So, as there is no change in type 3, 4, 5, 7, I will not be configuring OSPF version 3 for multiple areas. I will just be configuring OSPF version 3 for a single area, showing you type 1, type 8, type 9. Clear? And all other thing, cost calculation method, stub, totally stub, network types, all things will remain same. Now look here, which approach it has used. Traditional. That's all of single example. You can see in the book. After that, Khatam. So here just showed you how to configure, nothing else. IPv6 router OSPF 1. Yes. Okay, we will create it like this. Router OSPF version 3 1. Router ID, address family IPv6, done. Router ID 1.1.1.1. Now go to the interface to enable OSPF. Interface serial 0/3 OSPF version 3. Process ID 1 for IP area. Let's say interface loopback 1 enabled. Router OSPF version 3, process ID 2, address family IPv6, router ID 2.2.2.2. OSPF version 3, process ID 2 for IPv6 area. You can see here neighborship is done. Neighborship is. Look here. Let me show you the types of LSA. Show OSPF version 3 database. Router LSA, type 8 LSA and type 9 LSA. Clear? Now what is the information in type router LSA? Show OSPF version 3 database. Which LSA I want to check? Router. Advertising router. See, in type 1 LSA, router LSA, there is only one information. Link connected to, that is point to point. Clear? Now, in case of IPv6, router will give a interface ID to every interface. Why? Because I don't know you know or not, to a single interface you can define multiple IPs. In case of IPv6, to a single interface you can define multiple IPs in case of IPv6. Clear? So, like to its own interface, what interface ID it has provided? 7. Neighbor has also provided what interface ID to its interface? 7. What is router ID of neighbor? 2.2.2.2. Second LSA we have to check, that is what we call it? Prefix LSA or intra area prefix LSA. You can see here, it is giving us information about, this is the router ID, this is the network connected. Look here, नेटवर्क की इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहा है ना जो कनेक्टेड है. Prefix length, network, prefix length, metric. For loopbacks metric is 0. Clear? समझ में आई इतनी बात? Which LSA is this? Type 9. Which LSA is this? Show OSPF version 3 database. Type 8 is link LSA. Now check what is the information in link LSA. And the networks associated with this interface. And the network associated with this interface. You can see here, this is the network on R221. And this is the network on R1. That is 12s. Clear? So type 8 LSA is responsible for exchanging link local address for the interfaces. Clear? One more thing you can check here. It is giving information that interface ID 7. For interface ID 7, this is the network and this is the link local address. This is the network and this is the. देखो type 1 LSA में क्या information थी? That over this interface ID, this neighbor is reachable. In type 8 LSA, we have information that to this interface ID, this network is binded and this link local address is binded. Clear? समझ में आया? Router OSPF version, process ID 3, address family IP, router ID, OSPF version 3, process ID 3 for IPv6. You want to configure it area 10 or 100? Area 10 या 100? Done. Interface FS0/0 OSPF version 3, process ID 4 for IP area 10. Done. So guys, this is a multi-access segment. ये क्या है? Look here. Show OSPF version 3 neighbors. How many are neighbors? 3 and 4. 3 is BDR, 4 is DR other. Both are reachable over same interface ID. Clear? Because both are reachable over same interface. Look here, how many databases are present? Type 1, type 8, type, and look here, type 2. Type, who is DR? Show, look here. What type of LSI is type 2? Network, advertising router. What information we are getting? Done. How many routers are connected on the multi-access segment? And what is the interface ID of DR2? Look here. Show OSPF version 3 neighbors. R3 is saying who is DR2. R4 is saying who is DR. R3 is saying who is DR other 4. and their interface ID is also same. For R4, 2 and 3, 2 is DR and 4 is VDR. Clear? 3 is VDR and 2 is DR. So this thing is clear. Any problem in understanding this thing? So all of you are clear with this thing? कोई प्रॉब्लम हो इसमें आपको? बताओ भाई. So these are the changes which are present in case of IPv6. The only change you will find is in LSAs. All other things are same. If you check R1's routing table, show IPv6 route OSPs. It is installing the networks. You can see here cost to reach those networks 65. Cost of loopback is 0. Cost of loopback is 0. 64 for the serial interface, 1 for this Ethernet. Total cost is 65. Clear? Show OSPF version 3 interfaces. This is the command to check what is the interface assigned, interface ID assigned to the interface, what is the link local address, what is router ID, what is cost. See, cost here it is showing 1. But what cost it will count? 0. Keep this thing in mind. Cost is 64. Fine. Interface ID 7. Done. So this is how OSPF will work with IPv6. Let me show you also. Show OSPF version 3 stats. How many times SPF is executed? 4 times. Let's say on R4 I am adding one more network. Clear? Interface loopback 2. IPv6 address 4:5/128. OSPF version 3. Process ID 4. For IPv6 area 10. Show OSPF version 3 database. See here, type 1 LSA is not regenerated. भाई देखो ना, type 1 LSA is not regenerated. Intra area prefix LSA is regenerated. You can see here, intra area prefix LSA is regenerated. Still, how many times SPF is executed? 4 times. This thing is clear. So this is the benefit, and this is how you can understand OSPF version 3. कर दूं बंद इसको? Next thing. Now guys, there is a new topic for all of you, VRF Lite. First of all, just try to understand what is VRF. What is VRF? Now where VRF is used. where VRF is used in real time scenarios is not your cup of tea for now. Fine. In CCNP you just have to understand what are VRFs, that's all. Fine. Anyone who has heard about this term before? Now, let me tell you a simple thing. By default this is a switch. Fine. How many broadcast domains are there? One. If you want to divide this broadcast domain, what you will do? We will create VLANs. We know two ports which belong to different VLANs will never communicate. Will never? Agree? Clear? By default this is a router. This router is having how many interfaces? 2. Fine. Whenever you ping from this interface to this interface, ping is working?
Yes, sir.
Why? Because router will install both of these interfaces network information in a table called मैं क्या कह रहा हूँ? By default router is having a routing table. In routing table, router keep information of all the networks. Router keeps information of all the networks. Clear? Now, what I want that this interface must not communicate with this interface. It means in the routing table in which this network is present, this network must not be present. And in the routing table, this network is present, this interface must not be present. मैं क्या कह रहा हूँ यार, बाय डिफॉल्ट राउटर के दो इंटरफेसेस आपस में कम्युनिकेट करते हैं. क्यों करते हैं? Because both networks are present in routing table. Now let's say what I want, that both interfaces must not communicate. दोनों interfaces क्या ना करें? Communicate ना करें. तो क्या करना पड़ेगा उसके लिए? Let's say I want interface number 1 must not communicate with interface number 2. It means in the routing table interface number 2 must not be present. Clear? Clear? Yes or no? Yes. Only then we can stop this communication. Only then we can stop this communication. Now look here guys, by default router will form a routing table that is called global routing table. That is called fine. Now what we can do, we can create a VRF on router, but we can create VRF like you create VLAN on a switch. Fine. After that what you will do? You will bind VLAN with the port. In a similar way you will bind VRF with the port. Now there is a rule on router. Router will always form a separate routing table for VRF. Separate routing table for the networks which belong to, for the interfaces which belong to a VRF, and a separate routing table for the networks which are not in any VRF. It means, let's say it is a router. It is having two interfaces. 1, 2. This port is member of VRF A and this port is member of global routing table. So for this interface, router will make entry in which routing table? Global routing table. And for this, for the network running on this interface, router will make entry in which routing table? VRF A routing table. Clear? So whenever from this interface you try to ping this interface, you will never able to ping. Clear? Why? Because this network is not present in same routing table. Clear? So whenever there is a need to divide routing table of a router, what we can do? We can create VRF and we can make ports member of different VRF. Clear? इतनी बात समझ में आई? All of you know? Same VLAN ports can communicate. In a similar way, same VRF ports can communicate. Let's say this is a router. This port is member of VRF-A. This port is also member of VRF-A. So both the networks we are running on these interfaces will be installed in a single routing table. So these two interfaces can communicate. Clear? But if it is a member of VRF-A and it is a member of VRF-B, they can never communicate. They can never communicate. This thing is clear? Now let me show you a practical. VRF-A, VRF-B, VRF-A, VRF-B. Clear? सबको clear हुआ? Now, I want to make communication possible between this VRF-A and this VRF-A, this VRF-B and this VRF-B. For this VRF-A, it is a loopback. It is also a loopback, loopback, loopback. Network we are running here. Here also, can we run the same network? Yes or no? Can we run the same network? Why? MAC address का क्या लॉजिक है यार यहाँ? Routing table will be different. Routing table will be. This thing is clear to all of you. Now the problem is this shared interface is still present in global routing table. It means VRF-A is never able to communicate with this interface. So how it will communicate with R2? So what I will do, I will divide this interface into two sub interfaces. Into two sub interfaces, 0/0.10 and 0/0.20. I will configure it member of VRF-A and this interface member of VRF-B. Clear? So you can see here VRF is existing end to end on this router. This interface is VRF-A, this interface is VRF-A. On this router, this interface is VRF-A and this interface is VRF-A. So they can communicate. Configuring VRF end to end is called VRF Lite. Clear? VRF-B is also existing end to end. You can see here, so they can also communicate. Fine. Look here. Now, first thing that you will be doing is creating a VRF. First of all, create a VRF. IP, that's all. IP, VRF, that's all. Done. Interface loopback 1. IP, VRF forwarding. Which VRF? Loopback 1 is member of VRF-A. Done. IP address. Interface loopback 2. IP VRF forwarding. IP address. Same address we can use. Done. Now look here. Both the loopbacks are having same IP. So whenever you see same IPs on two loopbacks, this thing must click in your mind that here what we have configured, VRFs. How to check VRFs? Show IP. How many VRFs are existing? A and B. Loopback 1 is member of VRF A. Loopback 2 is member of VRF B. Clear? Interface FA0/0 no shut. Divide this interface into sub interfaces. .10. Now, how many of you know whenever I have to divide Ethernet interface into sub interfaces, I have to associate a VLAN. I have to associate a VLAN. Inter-VLAN routing पढ़ी थी?
Yes, sir.
In inter-VLAN routing, on whenever you configure router on a stick,
Encapsulation of the
at that time you were running on encapsulation. What was the reason? Normal सी बात बता रहा हूँ. I am having only one physical interface, but I want to carry two VLAN traffic. That's why what I was doing, I was assigning encapsulation there. I was assigning. देखो यहाँ पे कितने VRF है? दो. How receiving end will get to know that this traffic belongs to which VRF? जो R2 है, R2 रिसीव करेगा. Physical interfaces same. So how receiving device will get to know this traffic belongs to which VRF? So what I will do? Encapsulation dot 1Q VLAN 10 IP VRF forwarding A. It means if receiving device is receiving tag of VLAN 10, it means traffic belongs to VRF A. Clear? IP address 12.0.0.1. Look here, next step .20 encapsulation .1Q VLAN 20 IP VRF forwarding B. IP address, same address we can use. Yes or no? Show IP. Same IP we can use. भाई समझ में आ रहा है सबको? On both the interfaces we are having same IP. It means both the interfaces are member of VRF. See here, loopback 1 and FA0/0.10 is member of A. Loopback 2 FA0/0.20 is member of VRF B. Clear? Any problem? No. IP VRF A. IP VRF B. IP VRF forwarding A. IP address 192.168.2.1. Interface loopback 2 IP VRF forwarding B. IP address done. Encapsulation .1Q VLAN IP VRF forwarding IP address 12.0.0. Encapsulation .1Q VLAN 20 IP VRF forwarding V IP address done. सबको समझ में आया? Why I have associated VLAN with the interface? यार आपने वहां भी CCNA में लॉजिक नहीं पूछा कभी that why we are defining encapsulation with the interface. Look here. Let's say this is a switch. Here you have two VLANs, VLAN 10 and 20. On router you are configuring two sub interfaces, one with VLAN 10, other with VLAN. Guys, try to understand this physical interfaces same. How router will get to know? How router will get to know that to which VLAN traffic belongs to? Traffic whenever it is receiving tag of VLAN 10, it means traffic belongs to 10. And second thing, whenever router has to send traffic back, router has to add a tag, because the switch will make decision on the basis of this tag. भाई स्विच को कैसे पता चलता कौन से VLAN से ट्रैफिक बिलोंग करता है? टैग से. The same thing I am saying here. I am having a single interface. I am dividing it into I am dividing it into two logical interfaces. How this device will get to know that traffic belongs to VRF A or B? So what I have done, I have assigned VLAN 10 to VRF A, VLAN 20 to VRF B. Clear? Now look here. Show IP route. Do we have any routing, any entry in my routing table? Why? Because this is global routing table. This is this time on this router, no interface belong to global routing table. कोई भी इंटरफेस किससे बिलोंग नहीं करता? ग्लोबल राउटिंग टेबल से. क्लियर? शो IP route VRF A. Which networks are present? Look here. Loopback 1 FA0/0 dot 10. VRF B. Which networks are present? Loopback 2 FA0/0 dot 20. Clear? Now what I will be showing you how to define static route. How to define? See, this time I have to define static route in my VRF routing table, not in global routing table. Not in? कौन से routing table में define करना है? What I will write here? VRF. Please install this route in which routing table? VRF. What is the indirectly connected subnet? 2.0. Next stop. Done. Just do one more thing. Right here VRF B. Because on both the ends we are using same networks. भाई वहाँ 2.0 यूज कर रहा हूँ ना. देखो normally R1 और R2 है. Here you have 192.168.2.0. What route you will define? IP space route 192.168.2.0. Subnet mask. Next stop. Here I have also added. Why? VRF A routing table. Show IP route VRF A. Here you can see a static route. Here also you can see a static route. R2 VRF done. Now we usually write here ping 192.168.2.1, but if I will ping like this, I will never be able to ping. Why? Yes, whenever you write normal ping, it will follow, it will do a lookup in global routing table. So you have to write here ping VRF A. Which destination? We are able to communicate. We are able to communicate. Let's say this time I want to check which routing table? B. We are able to communicate. Clear भाई? सबको समझ में आया? Look here. Whenever VRF A traffic is forwarded, you can CL.1Q tag. VLAN is 10. Clear? Whenever VRF, you can CL tag 20. Clear? सबको समझ में आया? So what is the use of VRF that you will be knowing when you will be studying CCI? Fine. What is VRF? I explained you. Now it is moreover like this, guys. Let's say this is R1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fine. Now if you know that R2 and R3 are using same networks, you cannot perform routing in any case. आप routing नहीं कर सकते because both of them will advertise their network to R1. R1 will forward only one network to, and it will forward it to these routers. Whenever they will send traffic, R1 will load balance the traffic. R1 will, as network is same. So what we can do? I can configure this interface in VRF A, this interface in VRF B, this again in VRF A, this again in VRF B, so that they can communicate and they can communicate. And no traffic is distributed. Clear? It is like this. Whenever a router will receive traffic on an interface, router will check this interface belongs to which VRF. Router will check routing table that is associated with that VRF. And router will perform forwarding on the basis of that routing table. Clear? Not on the basis of global routing table. So this is how you can use VRFs. Fine. So what I think that only BGP is left. Yes. Virtual link भी पढ़ोगे? Authentication, authorization, accounting. Now what is AAA? Let me tell you the role of AAA server in today's network. Fine. Now guys, let's talk about a bank's network. एक बैंक के नेटवर्क के बारे में बात करते हैं. All of you know about ICICI. Now how many branches of ICICI will be there in India? Okay, let's talk about Gurgaon. In Gurgaon, I think there are more than 100 sectors, and in every 3 sectors, you will find one branch. Fine. So let's say in only Gurgaon there are 33 branches. Fine. ICICI will be having their own network. Yes or no? It means that at every site there will be a router and multiple switches for the users. And if we check the diagram, those all routers will be connected somehow. Fine. Now, try to understand. We always configure username and passwords on routers and switches just to provide remote access to the users. Now, what I think, let's say, if this much big network is there, there will be around 500 people who will be taking care of that network. So there will be 500 different users and username and passwords will be there. That will be configured on all the devices. Clear? That will be configured on each time a new joinee will be there in the network team. They have to create their username and password on all the devices. Clear? Now what do we want? We want centralized authentication. What do we want? Centralized authentication. What do we want? That whenever there is a new joinee, there is no need to define username and password on the device. We will do, or we will configure all the devices such that whenever any request will come to them, they will ask a AAA server. They will ask, is this user is authenticated or not? If this user is authenticated or not. If user is authenticated, device will provide the access. Otherwise, it will not provide the access. So, by default, in a network on every device, you have to create username and password. If you want centralized authentication, centralized, like all of you use ATM. ATM is using centralized authentication. whenever you swap your ATM card, fine, it will ask for a PIN. That PIN will authenticate with the server. On that server, all username and PINs are same. Clear? So in the similar way, in a network, you can provide centralized authentication by using triple. Now, whenever you read about AAA, you will be reading two types of protocol. One is Radius, TACX, TAC ACS plus. What do we call it? TAC ACS plus. Now what is Radius? Radius is an open standard protocol. TACX is a Cisco proprietary protocol. See, your switch or router has to communicate with AAA server. Has to communicate with. For this communication, two protocols are used. One is TAC ACS plus and second is Radius. If you are using TAC ACS plus protocol, you will call this server TAC ACS plus server. If you are using Radius protocol, you will call this server Radius server. Clear? Now the logic is clear. Why we use AAA? For centralized authentication. Second thing, try to understand. Let's say this is a user. Fine. I am providing him access to my router. Now I can define the things he is allowed to do. I can define things he is allowed to do. That thing is called authorization. That thing is called authorization. Let's say I just want him to provide access of enable mode. I just want him to provide access of enable mode. Let's say this is also a user. I want him to provide access of enable mode plus privilege mode plus not a configuration mode. Let's say he's a user. I want to provide him access of enable mode, privilege mode and global configuration mode. So all this authorization we can configure it on the AAA server that this user is allowed to do these things. This user is allowed to do these things. Clear? Now, let's say to Manoj, I have provided access of all three modes, user mode also, privilege mode also, and now I want to keep track what user is doing. What? हर यूजर कर क्या रहा है राउटर पे एक्सेस लेके, ऐसा तो नहीं हुआ that Manoj has done like this. Manoj has shut some interface or he has changed some configuration. So I am also keeping track what user is doing, what things. That thing is called accounting. That thing is called accounting. All things will be centralized. All things will be. You just have to define it once. That will be applicable on all the devices. That will be applicable on all the devices. So AAA is basically used in real-time scenarios to reduce administrative overhead. To reduce administrative overhead. Now, next thing. In the past days, we were using ACS server as AAA server. We were using ACS. ACS stands for Access Control Server. Fine. Nowadays, ACS is replaced by ICE. ACS is replaced by ICE. See, this server is never a something that is related to hardware. Server कभी भी hardware नहीं होता. Server क्या होता है हमेशा? Software. क्या होता है? TFTP server. It is a software. You can install it on your end machine, and your machine will act like TFTP server. Similar in the similar way, ACS is also a software. You have to install it on your end machine. Your machine will start acting like ACS server. Similar is ICE. ISE. ICE. ISE. Identity Service Engine. Identity Service Engine. Fine. That is also software. You can install it on your end machine, and you can configure your end machine as AAA server. Clear? So these are the things. So when you read about AAA server from your book, you will get to know.